No puedes jugar boxeo es presentado por SEYER, la marca que desde 1930 viste los puños de los campeones. Por The Aquino Destinations, destinos de ensueño.
Nico Ali Walsh, it's always a pleasure to talk with you. 5-0, 4 knockouts, and everything is getting better and better for you.
Yes, no, I'm super excited. This next fight is special because it's a rematch with the guy that I didn't knock out. And it's going to be in the same arena that my grandfather fought Ken Norton. He got his jaw broke by Ken Norton in that arena. So I'm just breaking curses that night. That's what I'm doing.
You know, it's something special in your family. And of course, everybody remember your grandfather. But definitely, you are creating your own story, your own path. And it's very difficult because you have on your shoulders the last name.
Yeah, you know, everyone says it's difficult. It is, of course. But to me, it's just my grandfather. You know, we're keeping his legacy alive with me in boxing. And the more we talk about him, the more he stays around, he stays relevant. And yeah, I'm making a name for myself, making my own legacy in the process. So it's awesome.
You're always a gentleman. But let me share this with you. Maybe you didn't notice, but you were talking like normally when we saw you in the entrance. But as soon as you talk about boxing, your eyes are different, right?
Really?
I mean, no, it's like a fire.
That's what it is. You know, every great fighter has that on and off switch, right? So, yeah, no, I'm glad I have that switch. I love boxing. This is what I've dedicated my life to, my soul to, and it's so important to me because, obviously, of my grandfather. So it's super, super important to me.
When you talk about, again, Muhammad Ali, the people say, no, it's because he's the grandson, blah, blah, blah. But your last fight, the knockout, you hit the table. Like in Mexico, we say, you show to the world that you have balls, not only boxing, right?
Yeah, no, you know what? That's the whole point. You know, I'm in boxing. Of course, I'm continuing my grandfather's amazing legacy. But my last fight was showing that I'm making my own legacy too. Okay, and that's the whole point. And yeah, it's just this. You got to enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, and that's what I'm doing.
I'm always say this in my show, mention this in my show. I'm grateful with God because He gave me this phrase. En español is no puedes jugar boxeo, and it means you can't play boxing.
Right.
What is your opinion about our brand? You can't play boxing, no puedes jugar boxeo.
I love that name, and you interviewed me before my last fight. I love that name because it's true. You know, some people who play football, they play football, they play soccer, they play baseball, but you don't play boxing. And no, I love that name. It's perfect. Boxing is serious. You're meant to take it seriously, but when you can have fun like my grandfather did, like I'm having fun now fighting, which is something you're supposed to be taking serious. That's when you just do amazing.
The favorite moment of your grandfather in the ring?
I would watch his fight with George Foreman with him a lot. So that's got to be one of my favorite moments.
Definitely,
honestly.
definitely. What about your family? Because it's impressive the things that you are doing in the ring. But your family is like another soul down there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, honestly, my family obviously supports me in boxing, and for my family it's very emotional because the only other fights aside because of course my grandfather fought, my aunt Layla fought as well, so the only other people that have fought in my family are them two. So when my mom comes to my fights and watches me fight, she sees her dad, you know, my grandfather. So it's an emotional experience, but we've gotten closer as a family because of me boxing.
Definitely. Two more things because there's a lot of press here and they want to talk with you. But it's difficult to ask this for me, and I don't want to ask this because it's so stupid to say, hey, you're going for the knockout. What is your strategy? This is a stupid question. I'm going to ask you from the bottom of my heart, and you can answer, please, from the bottom of your heart. What are your expectations? How can you imagine or dream this coming night? Because some people forget that at the end, you can't play boxing. And it's not easy. I mean, every time that you go in the ring, you're not going to play anymore. So
Right.
how is the feeling? What are your dreams? Have you ever dreamed about that night in this rematch?
Yeah, this training camp for this fight has been the longest of any fight. It's been just insanely grueling. So I've had a lot of time to think.
Yeah.
But when I have that time to think, I think about all the things that I want to happen. And you manifest those kind of things. Like what I thought about before last fight happened. What I thought about before that fight happened. So this fight, honestly, there's no stupid questions. I can't say I'm going for the knockout, but I can absolutely positively say that it will be better than my last fight. And so if I can make improvements every single fight, even if it's just small improvements, I'm happy with myself. So that's what I'm going for.
So we have mind-to-mind communication. That's what I want to hear.
Just improvements.
Yeah,
that's all.
I know.
That's all.
Get it little by little.
Yeah.
Finally, and I'm gonna ask you like almost every time that you gave me the opportunity to talk with you about the Mexican market, because you can imagine how many people from Mexico, not only in Mexico but here in USA, the Mexicans, they are following you, and I want to help you that everybody in Mexico knows about you, the Mexicans here, and maybe they're gonna fall in love with you.
Honestly, there's no Mexican, there's no fan base like the Mexican fan base in boxing. It's like everyone knows that. My favorite fighter, like obviously my grandfather's my favorite fighter of all time, but Canelo is one of my favorite fighters of all time. Seriously. And so if I could be embraced by the Mexican fan base, that would be a true honor. I know so many great Mexican fighters, and just throughout the history of boxing, the Mexicans reign in boxing. So if I can grab that fan base and get some Mexican fan base, that's awesome.
Awesome. Have you ever met Canelo?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Right after my last fight, I met him.
Yeah.
He saw the fight, which was insane for me to even think of, and he was so cool. They say don't meet your heroes, but with him, it was cool.
Well, Nico, it's always a pleasure. Hey, people, I'm saving money because I want to buy the same perfume of this guy. It's really expensive, but I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Yes, yes. No, honestly, the cologne you wear now is perfect, but
good.
we were talking about the Creed cologne last time.
Cologne.
It's special.
I'm saving all year, but I'm going to do it for sure. I promise.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure, my man.
Always.
Thank you very much. You say something? Viva Mexico.
Viva Mexico.
There
Viva
you go.
Mexico.
There you go. Thank you very much.
No puedes jugar boxeo. Fue presentado por SEYER, la marca que desde 1930 viste los puños de los campeones. Y por Aquino Destinations, destinos de ensueño.